So welcome to your trauma sensitive yoga practice. I'm choosing to practice today in a standing shape. However, you may choose to use a chair or use a mat. So I'll do my best to adapt the shapes to accommodate that also throughout the practice. So know that you also have a choice here to keep your eyes open or closed, and you can exercise that choice throughout the practice as well. And so I am going to choose to close my eyes. Once we begin our practice, I will close my eyes. You also can practice by listening to my voice and perhaps exploring some of the shapes or forms that are offered. Or you may choose to practice in stillness or in a different form that feels more helpful for you. And so you can exercise that choice also. So to begin our practice, an invitation perhaps to, first of all, maybe explore noticing the space beneath you. So, for example, if you're standing, you may explore noticing the surface beneath your feet. Or perhaps if you're sitting, you may notice the chair or the mat underneath you. So you can explore noticing the surface perhaps in stillness or through movement. So that might be a movement on your feet in a particular direction of your choice. Maybe an option could be to move forward and back in your feet or forward and back in your chair. Another option might be to move maybe from side to side. So it's possible that you're feeling some sensation there underneath your feet or maybe underneath your sitting muscles if you're on a chair. And then as you're ready, an option here to perhaps notice your legs. So if you would like to, you're welcome to explore perhaps lifting one leg off the floor. So you can lift the leg off the floor, your leg off the floor, as much or as little as you like. You might choose to bend at your knee, or you might choose to keep your leg straight. So you can make that choice. It's possible here that you notice perhaps you might be shifting towards one side, so the side that is still on the floor. It's possible that you're shifting over towards that side to support yourself. It's also possible you feel some sensation in the muscles on the side, which is still on the floor. Or you may also notice some sensation on the leg that you are lifting. That is another possibility. So an option here might be to explore perhaps lifting your leg, maybe holding your leg in the air. That's a possibility for you. And perhaps lowering your leg back down towards the floor. You might explore this movement with your leg maybe one or two times, or perhaps there's a different form that you're exploring today. You can also choose to do that also. Feel free to use a support here with your other hand. If it is helpful to help you balance, you can do that. So for example, I have a chair beside me here, and sometimes I'm leaning on the chair to support me to balance as I lift and lower my leg. And perhaps an invitation is to lower your leg back down towards the floor. Maybe a moment of pause here to notice perhaps a change in sensation. So it's possible you feel a different sensation as you pause. This may be different than the sensation you felt during the shape. Maybe noticing that for a moment if it's available to you. Whenever you're ready, you are welcome to explore the same movement on your opposite leg. So you may Lift your foot off the floor. You can choose to keep your knee, or keep a bend in your knee, or to maybe straighten your leg. That is your choice. Again, you can choose your eyes open or closed. Perhaps this time you notice your weight moving towards the leg in which you're standing. You may notice some sensation there, you may not. Or another possibility might be that you notice sensation in the leg in which you're lifting off the floor. You're welcome to lower your leg back down to the floor whenever you're ready. Perhaps another moment of pause to maybe explore a possible change in sensation in the legs or in your legs. It's possible you feel a change in sensation in your legs. It's also possible that you don't. You might be investigating that. You're welcome to take this again on either side, this movement again on either side if it's something you might like to do. Maybe bending into your knee, perhaps lifting your foot off the floor, possibly exploring this then on your other side if you'd like to do that. You may move more or less in your shape depending on what you might like to feel. So it's possible you might lift or lower your leg more than me. You may have a preference in this particular shape, or you may not. So you can explore the different variations. You can explore perhaps lifting and lowering, or maybe bending or straightening your leg. As you're ready, returning back to your neutral standing shape. Possibility here might be to invite a bend into your knees. So both knees, both legs on the floor for a moment. Perhaps inviting a bend into your knees. So if you're standing, this may involve bending into the knees and lowering your upper body down towards the floor very slightly. And then perhaps moving back up towards a neutral standing shape. So you might explore that with your legs, maybe bending into your knees, lowering your upper body, and perhaps you can hold it here if you'd like to do that with your knees bent, like you're sitting down on a chair, or you might choose to move between the two variations. If you're on a chair, this may be slightly different for you. You may choose to perhaps lean forward on your feet, maybe exploring sitting forward, and then perhaps leaning onto the feet and exploring what it's like to lift your hips off your chair. So it's a very similar movement, lifting and then perhaps lowering back down on the chair. So if you are in your standing shape, perhaps exploring what it might be like for you to maybe hold this shape for a moment or two with your knees bent. Maybe noticing some sensation on the top of your legs, that's possible. And then perhaps as you rise back up to a neutral standing shape, or as you sit on your chair, if you're sitting, you may notice a change or a difference in the sensation while you pause for a moment. It's possible to explore that movement again if you would like to do that. Maybe exploring moving into a shape of your choice. So perhaps you have a preference to move a little more into the shape or a little less into the shape, using your knees to bend into the shape. You might explore the variations. You might move between them to change the sensation for you, Or you might not know what you would like to feel here, and perhaps just investigating the different sensations in your legs. So it's possible to do that also. And then as you're ready, returning back towards a neutral standing shape. So a moment here and pause again to maybe feel a change in sensation. Whenever you're ready, an option here might be to notice or explore a shape or movement using your arms. So whenever you're ready, if you would like, you're welcome to move your arms outwards, away from the body, perhaps traveling up to the space at the side of your body. Again, you have a choice, just like you do with your legs, to perhaps bend your elbows or to straighten your elbows. Or straighten your arms. You might choose to hold your arms here in the space beside your body, or you might choose to move between the two options, or perhaps lifting and lowering your arms. That is an option for you. Maybe noticing a sensation as you lift your arms. It's possible you feel that in the top of your arms, maybe your shoulders. It's possible that the sensation is different when you lower your arms. Maybe there's no sensation, maybe you feel something different. You're welcome to explore that change if you'd like to. And know that you can choose to move more or less with your arms. You may choose to lift them higher or lower than me. You might choose to move faster or slower than me. That might be your preferred shape or movement today. You can do that if you'd like to. And then perhaps lowering your arms whenever you're ready, and pausing for a moment with your arms lowered. And as we start to close out the practice today, perhaps a moment to notice your breath. You might choose to notice your breath by maybe looking down at your rib cage, perhaps seeing movement as you breathe. That might be possible. Or you might feel movement as you breathe. It's possible you feel maybe some movement at your rib cage as you breathe in and out. You are welcome to maybe use a hand on your belly or your chest if that's helpful, on your rib cage, if that's helpful to maybe feel some sensation. And then we'll start to close out our practice and bring ourselves back into this room. I'm going to open my eyes as we close our practice.